There you go, Mitch.
Oh, goody. You may be going first.
You like
the
purple?
first person.
Yeah. Red is on.
The other one.
Oh, we're on, showtime.
Yep.
Thank you. Good evening. The hour of 6 p.m. having arrived, I call to order this regular meeting of the Municipal Services, Facilities, and Infrastructure Committee. This meeting is being broadcast live on the City of Keene YouTube channel and channel 1302. The video is also streamed on the city website and is posted on the website by the end of the next business day, barring any technical difficulties. Copies of the printed agenda are available on the wall pockets as you enter the room. The public and other city councilors will be recognized to ask questions as long as there's no quorum of councilors, and make comments on the agenda item under discussion. After being recognized, all remarks are to be made through the chair. I will not recognize an individual a second time until everyone who has a chance to speak has. Anyone who wishes to address the committee is asked to go to one of the microphones in the room. Identify yourself by name and address prior to speaking. Written comments from the public will be accepted at the clerk's office until Tuesday, 1 p.m. Our minute taker is participating remotely this evening. Committee members, please make sure you turn on your microphone when speaking. And if the minute taker is unable to hear, someone will ask you to speak louder or turn your microphone on. I now call to order this meeting, and I note that we have 4 out of 5, so we do have a quorum present. Our first item on the agenda this evening, we have a request for a water bait abatement and fee waiver. We now have a full committee. Request for water abatement and fee waiver, 251 Park Avenue. Mr. John Sosnowski, or
Good, Mr.
representative?
Chairman, Corporal Lundquist, Assistant City Manager, Public Works Director, Emergency Management Director. I do not see in the audience Mr. Sanowski's representative at the moment. My suggestion to you, Mr. Chair, is maybe you move to item, but this,
Great
move to
idea.
item 2 and see if he becomes known to us after you get done with item
Yep.
2.
Great idea. Good. Item 2, 2023 warrant for unlicensed dogs. The representative from the city clerk's office, please.
Yes, I'm Terry Hood, City Clerk's Office. I'm the Assistant City Clerk, and I'm here this evening to seek our annual authorization for the warrant to issue forfeitures for unlicensed dogs. And so what this means is that anyone that we haven't seen in our office to relicense for the year will receive a $25 fine in early July. All owners had until April 30th to get their dog relicensed. We also, on this year's list, included again the new dog owners that we've received rabies notifications on. And so we have 322 dogs that have not been renewed, and we have just under 100 new dog owners that have received a written notice from us and have yet to respond to the notice. The good news is that's a lot lower than last year. I think we've done a lot of outreach efforts this time, similar to in the past, but one thing we've added that I don't know if we did it last year or not was a robocall. So anyone that had not done their license as of end of May received a call with my little voice on the line telling them they need to come in and see us. So that happened. We've done 2,700 licenses so far, and we have just over 400 left that we'd like to gain compliance with. The police department will be helping us get these fines out. First run will be by regular mail. The second run eventually will be a knock on the door by our animal control officer. So that's all I have for you. Any questions?
So other than this being a state requirement, there is a good reason for doing this.
There are a few reasons. Department of Agriculture requires us to.
No, I mean a positive reason, not just,
yes. There
not
is.
just the governmental.
It is a public health issue. Rabies is required. It can spread quickly if dogs aren't vaccinated and they bite someone. It's very easy to spread. We don't want that to happen. The other part of the program that's positive is that the state uses a portion of these funds to provide low-cost spaying and neutering services. And God forbid someone does get bitten, there are diagnostic services through their lab to check for a dog for rabies if it bites someone.
Thank you. I think it's important to know that it's not
Sure.
just because, that there is some reason behind it.
Yes.
Committee questions? Anyone? Any questions from the public? Crickets. Okay, Councilor Williams, a motion, please.
Move to recommend the request for, no, that's the wrong one. Move to recommend that the city council issue a warrant for unlicensed dogs pursuant to NHRSA 466:14, and that the city clerk and the Keene Police Department be authorized to issue a civil forfeiture for each unlicensed dog to those dog owners who have failed to license their dog by April 30th, 2023.
Second.
And there's a motion and a second. Anything further from the committee? Public?
Yeah, just to say that I mentioned this to my son today, and he said, well, why do we license dogs? And so thank you for this explanation. I think, it is something people should know about, so thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Anything further? All in favor? That would be unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Okay, next item on the agenda, item 3. This is regarding Magnolia Way. We have 4 resolutions, R 2023-22, -23, and 24A. Yes, sir.
Sorry, Don Lucio, City Engineer, Mr. Chair. You said 4 resolutions or 3?
3.
That's what I thought. I misheard you.
Yes,
Okay, so does the chair prefer that we do all of Magnolia and then Matthews as a separate item? Is that
Yes.
how it's structured? Okay,
And that's how that was the 4th one.
excellent. Okay, so we are here to talk about the laying out and acceptance for public maintenance of Magnolia Way. Some of you have been on the council long enough to have seen that's come around a couple of times now, and the project is again moving forward. So that's a great thing. It'll put some additional building stock or housing stock in circulation for the city. So we had our site visit, visited the site, and I can go through the sort of spiel that I gave, or I could just jump to questions if you'd prefer.
Committee? Do you have any significant questions? Go ahead.
You just may want to review the schedule, sending it just for the record.
Yeah, so this is the sort of tail end of the process. Once the council assumes, I'll assume the council will accept these resolutions and pass them. That starts a clock for the developer to complete the repairs. Now, the majority of the construction work has been done. We've given them a punch list of items that needs to be completed and tested and what have you. And we're working with the developer and the contractor to do those. But it does start that 36-month clock for them to complete the work and demonstrate to the public work director's satisfaction that all of the construction that meets public standards before the city actually is responsible for the maintenance of it. Hopefully, this time they'll actually get over that threshold, and we'll consummate the deal and take over as public utilities.
And you may want to review the process, when it went before council, this time, when was the public hearing, and how it came to here.
Okay. So the petitioner submitted, I believe, in early April. It was received and reviewed by the city council on April 20th. The statute requires that we have a 30-day public hearing notice. So the site visit was scheduled for June 1st, and the public hearing was held back here in council chambers that same evening. So, that's the process we've taken to get to this point. Anything else, boss?
Any questions from the committee? I don't see any. So this is not to the city attorney. There's some issue with an A version
That's right. Let me pull it up, because I was just looking at this the other day. It is in, looking at your packet, page 42, and then paragraph number 9 right there. There's a bolded word, either. That is the change. Do you have a question about the change?
So when we're voting, which one gets the A?
Oh, I understand, yeah. 20, or, yeah,
Oh,
23,
so that's on the
24,
next
yeah.
one.
No, it's on this. Corporal Lundquist, Public Work Director. It is part of these three resolutions, so you'll be adopting resolution
24A.
2322, 2323, and 2324A,
Okay, so what we have is correct.
which you have is
Okay.
correct.
Just checking. Everyone okay with everything? A motion, please, from Council Workman?
And I can take these all three together, right?
Yeah.
I move to recommend the adoption of Resolution R-2023-22. Move to recommend the adoption of Resolution R-2023-23. And move to recommend the adoption of Resolution R-2023-24-A.
Motion's made and seconded. Anything from committee or public?
Mr. Chairman, you just may want to note that I believe all committee members were present at the site visit, so therefore all committee members can vote on these resolutions.
A wise thing to say. We were all there. Okay. Yes.
I just want to make one comment for the record on this. When we had the public hearing a couple weeks ago, we had talked about how this would increase housing stock and solve the Keene problem, help solve Keene's problem. But at $450,000, that's a quiet amount. The only way that really helps is if we have 8 families move up to that range to open up a lower price house. But if we have people from out of town to fill all these 7 houses, it doesn't solve a problem. So I didn't think that was appropriate to say $450,000 houses are helping solving Keene's problem.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor? We are unanimous, and I thank you. And next item is item 4, also in the neighborhood. This is acceptance of a deed and return of layout Matthews Road and Winchester Street intersection. Resolution R 2023-25 and 26. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Don Luce here again, City Engineer. Unlike the Magnolia Way acceptance that we just talked about, the work required on Matthews Road is all completed, so there's no 36-month window for them to get the work done. The work has been done. It's really just a matter of filing the paperwork at this point. So I have in front of you here some before and after photos. As part of their development plan, the planning board asked them to make some adjustments to the intersection with Matthews Road because Magnolia Way was directly opposite Matthews Road. And that Matthews Road had this kind of weird skewed angle of attack. So they made some geometric changes to that intersection. They added a second lane for the outbound traffic on Matthews. So now today you have a dedicated right turn lane and one lane that you can get into if you want to take a left or actually cross Winchester Street to go onto Magnolia Way. And that's the after condition you see there. In order to do those improvements, though, they had to grant a little more land to the city to have that curve on. And that's what we're really talking about here tonight. So Resolution 23-25 is a deed for the land that the improvements were built on, and 23-26 is the layout of the public highway over that land. Now, there is a little bit of a twist with this one in that you have in your packets, you should have an additional recommendation to make besides just approving those resolutions, we are looking for the council to waive one of its requirements that's in the Land Development Code. And the reason is, if they had strictly abided by the right-of-way width for Matthews Road at this intersection, it would have put the adjoining property in non-compliance with the setback requirements. So we think that makes a lot of sense to grant that waiver that they've requested, and not create a non-compliant building lot. And I will say that there's no public infrastructure, in that area that we would have otherwise acquired. Everything is within the land that we're being given the deed to. So really, I don't see a lot of, risk or concern here with not having that full width.
Okay, to the attorney, do we want to have separate motions on that? Or just,
Yes. You can do the resolutions together, but the waiver would be a
Okay.
different one, yeah.
thought I would ask. Committee, any questions? Public, any questions? Yes, sir. Should do them separate.
Yep. First one, move to recommend the adoption of Resolution R 2023-25.
Second.
And move to recommend the adoption of Resolution R 2023-26.
Second?
And,
No?
okay, do those two together? Okay.
Okay, anything from the committee or public? Seeing none, all in favor? Unanimous? Now.
And move to recommend that the city council grant a waiver to section 22-3-3 of the Land Development Code with respect to minimum right-of-way widths for Matthews Road.
Second.
Motion's been seconded. Anything, committee or public? All in favor? Good, thank you. Moving right along. Okay,
Thank
let's
you.
go.
Mr. Chairman, I still do not see the representative from Mr. Starnansky from 251 Park Avenue. Of course, this is the second time it was placed on more time because the representative could not make it. Last time, my understanding from the clerk's office, they did notify the representative about the meeting this evening. So I do not know why the individual is not present.
Well, he's had two chances. Yeah.
I have no problem, we don't know what his situation is tonight. I have no problem putting it on more time for one more cycle. The city's not gonna go bankrupt. It certainly doesn't hurt. I'd actually like to hear from him. I don't know what his reason is for not being here, but once again, it's not gonna hurt us to put it on more time for another cycle.
Is that a formal motion?
Not yet. Committee, what do you think? I mean,
I agree.
I move to put the item on more time.
Second?
and motion's made and seconded, to put it on more time. Anything further? All in favor? Unanimous on more time. Gee whiz, looks like a 20-minute meeting.
Did you
18.
have that scheduled?
Yeah, why don't we go work on the downtown plan? We'll suspend the rules. Okay, well, all right. Well, I thank the staff that is here and the members of the public that are watching on TV and committee that's here, and we're adjourned. Thank you.
Sign in late, missed everything.
Da, da, da.